Now, the behaviour of asylum seekers staying in a local hotel has been blamed for the closure of a very popular 20-year-old restaurant in Southampton. Managers of the Ceno Bar and Restaurant claimed in a social media post that it was forced to shut its doors because the migrant hotel next door had made business simply impossible. Now, the restaurant that specialised in contemporary British food also added that it was no longer safe for its staff and its patrons due to the disruptive behaviour of their new neighbours. Well, I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by the former owner of the Ceno Bar and Restaurant, and that is Jamie Darby. Jamie, welcome to the show. Give us a little handshake, Captain. This is a terrible, terrible thing that's happened to you. For 20 years, you've had your business, a much cherished part of the Southampton hospitality community, and then something changed without you being told. An asylum hotel literally opened above you. Tell us what happened next.
So that was 2020, without being told, as you say. Asylum seekers housed in a hotel directly above the restaurant. And since then, the business has started to decline. 15 years previous to that, very, very successful, local community restaurant. And unfortunately, due to all of the issues we had with the asylum seekers, business is untenable anymore.
And quite apart from the fact that they've been loitering around in the car park, which used to be the car park for your restaurant, you sent me videos of shirtless men wandering around. You say you claim your daughter was harassed. Customers obviously feeling a bit uncomfortable that you've got an outside seating area and there are videos of asylum seekers wandering around and in some cases giving abuse to them.
Correct, yeah. So we share part of my lease of 25 years. Originally from 2005, the car parks surrounding the hotel, part of the lease was that we share those spaces. Of late, those car parks have been closed.
And in that car park, there are men? They're all men, right, in this hotel?
There's not one woman or one child within that hotel. Last count with September 2025, there was 112 asylum seekers within that hotel.
And you've also had bad incidents of water streaming through your ceiling because, of course, the residents are literally above your kitchen.
Directly above the whole of the restaurant, the bar and the kitchen. And throughout the time whilst they've been there, flooding whilst people are eating their dinner. So no wonder, the state of that, people don't want to come anymore.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind. The more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
You've obviously tried to reach out to get some help. There's the hotel owners, there's a local authority, your local parliamentarian. Did anybody listen to you, Jamie Darby?
No, they didn't, to be quite frank. The original superintendent from Southampton Police, I spoke to him. He said, I will ensure that we look after yourself, your staff and your business. And that just hasn't been the case since mainly probably the last 2.5 years.
How soul-destroying has it been for you personally, before we get to the state of the nation, what this says about Britain and its priorities? How devastating for you personally has this been? I understand now, from being a highly successful restaurateur, you're now skint.
Correct, yeah. So I sunk all of my money into it, sold my house back in 2004 to sink all of the money into this business, which was around 600,000, and to walk out of it at the end of it, of 20 years, 4.5 years left on the lease, is, soul-destroying. It's devastating.
And quite apart from your own situation now, Jamie Darby, what does this say to you about the priorities of modern Britain?
Well, it's a joke, isn't it, to be quite frank? I'm ousted from a business that I loved and I've spent however much money, time, effort. Our management team's been with us for 20 years since the day we opened. They're all now jobless. Amongst all of the other part-time staff that we have, I can just say I'm sorry. I can't do any more than what I've done, certainly over the last 2.5 years.
But has anybody from the authorities, from the hotel, from the Home Office, has anybody ever said sorry to you?
No, not at all. I've contacted the local MP. I had a letter back via her from the minister, and with no meaningful outcome or any knowledge really as to when it's going to end and could I sustain the business ongoing for any period of time. And unfortunately, now, no is the answer.
Do you think this government places the human rights of asylum seekers above the human rights of British citizens?
Yes, I do. 100% I do, yes.
And your case proves that?
I think so. I'm born and bred. I've lived in the town all of my life. And this is the outcome, really. I can't operate a business anymore. In my statement I put out there a couple of days ago was, it's not all financial. I said it wasn't financial. It's not all financial. However, there is a financial element to it, but the majority of the reason for closing the doors is simply because of safety for my staff. There's been many incidences where young members of staff, for example, our bins are right round the rear of the hotel. They can't go around and empty the bins, for example, because they just get hit upon by groups of men leering at them. And the incident you mentioned earlier about my daughter was actually sat outside the front of the restaurant, with a large decking area, and they're all leering out the window and trying to encourage these girls, which are in their early 20s, to come upstairs.
Oh, wow. Jamie Darby, it's hard to listen to in many senses. Do you hope, despite everything that's happened to you, to try and start again somewhere in the town, somewhere in Southampton? Do you want to try and rise from the flames and get a fresh business going?
Yes, I do. And I hope that will be the case. We don't have anywhere currently that is, well, that we found. But we're looking and we shall see, what becomes of it. But
well, I wish you the best of luck. I wish your staff the best of luck. That doesn't really help pay the bills. You've been let down badly. But look, let's stay in touch. And hopefully when you get started again, let's get you back in. Try and get a few punters through your door. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Martin.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, Jamie Darby there, the former owner of the Ceno Bar and Restaurant down there in Southampton. Thanks for coming to see us today in Westminster. Now, in response to this story, a Home Office spokeswoman has told GB News, "We are furious at the level of illegal migrants in asylum hotels. This government will close every asylum hotel. Work is well underway with more suitable sites being brought forward to ease pressure on communities and cut asylum costs. We are working closely with local authorities, property partners and across government so that we can accelerate delivery." And a Hampshire constabulary spokesman told GB News this. And they've had policing team regularly meet with and attend businesses in Portswood to discuss any issues with staff and business owners and see what support they can provide. This was included near weekly visits to Ceno Restaurant in recent months. However, no concerns or issue have been reported or raised by the owners during these visits. We've reached out to the local MP for Southampton West, that's Satvia Kaur, and also the hotel owners for comment, but we did not hear anything back.